Zopi. Vabo. Sick of flesh. Nuloi Sawata. Risalek Kumbar.
Gushif, we know. Yasanar Damp. Fauna. Lupasiba.
Dag.
Arbanaya Umfra. Filpa. Shursanitva.
Davishi Slekum?
Uh-huh.
Ken Kuya.
Cleave.
Wissa.
Tanif Bazoo.
Infab.
Narfa. Noi. Shalbo.
Grachao. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Good luck. Oh. Abivo? Apollo. Afrif. Huh? Ah. Knife and Lumbic. Yeah. Ooh. Uh-huh. Ah.
Whew, that was hot.
Silly. Link, still, flicks, scuba tube. Niblets a breezy. Awesome move, Nerf.
what he did in the hurricane evacuation. There were pardons. He renamed the Gulf of America. And yes, he did begin a large-scale immigration crackdown that includes deporting many immigrants and deploying American troops at the border. But while all of this gradually for the economy, even implementing his beloved tariffs, many times.
I'm going to inform her one day, one or sooner, that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into America,
Oh.
I'm going to 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States.
Ooh.
Or doing anything to end the war in Ukraine, which he also wants to do.
That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together.
So this final flash was the question is whether overhead stuff can still get done, and then whether or not all of this is about a photo op. Joining us at the table is CNN economics commentator Catherine Rampell. She's a Washington Post opinion columnist. Catherine, I want to start on the economy because we know that is the most important thing to Americans. It's the source of their dissatisfaction with the Biden administration, and they believed Trump when he said he would fix it. I want to play for you what he said at Davos this week about how he would fix it.
I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. They should have done it long ago. They're very responsible, actually, to a certain extent, for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost. With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately and like dropping all over the world.
If you follow that, what he's
Clever.
saying is that he's going to get the
Yaba.
bring down the price of oil, and then he's going to use that to pressure the Federal Reserve to bring down interest rates, and that is going to be how prices are going to go.
Look, Trump got elected with a mandate to bring prices down. As I have said many a time, presidents do not actually have the ability to turn the dial up or down on prices. And in fact, Trump doesn't even have concepts of a plan for dealing with inflation. He signed an executive order that basically assigned his cabinet members to come up with concepts of a plan for dealing with inflation, for bringing down costs. There's a of course, of presidents begging OPEC to pump more oil. And maybe it'll work this time. I don't know. We'll see. But none of that is actually going to address the reason why inflation has been stubbornly high, including that grocery prices continue to be high. Egg prices are now at an all-time high. That's because of bird flu. That's not anything Trump did. But meanwhile, he's telling the CDC to stop issuing data and public communications about bird flu, which is probably not helping the situation. So to the extent that the American public voted for him to deal with prices, I have seen nothing in the agenda so far that would actually achieve that goal.
Lower gas prices, lower costs. Fuel costs impact everything up and down the supply chain. It's one of the key factors. When price of gasoline goes up, the price of every good
Gas
goes
has
up.
come down a lot.
Sure, and it'll go down more. If he has Saudi Arabia playing ball, they showed last administration from one point out they were willing to play ball. They came to the table to negotiate with Israel over normalizing relations. They did lower gas prices. But they actually, just yesterday, they announced that they're going to invest $600 billion more in the United States. But wait a minute. We can't have it both ways. We can't say that it's true that lower costs of fuel bring down prices, and yet say as he's hammering on drilling and getting the international markets to increase their supply, that he isn't talking about prices. He
But
quite
I'm
literally is
saying
in inflation.
oil production in the United States is already at an all-time high.
It is.
We are producing more crude oil in this country than any country has in history ever. The problem is not oil supply at this point. That's not the main issue that consumers are facing. The main issue is that there are other categories of goods and services that have very high prices that Trump has nothing to do. And in fact, he actually undid a Biden-era executive order to try to out-of-pocket costs on prescription drugs, which is something that none of this is going to help any of them.
I mean, look, just straight up from a numbers perspective, the things that contribute the most to people's pocketbooks are going to be those big ticket items. And it is also true that Trump has said and done nothing to adjust it.
He's been president for 4.5 days. He has also talked massively about the regulatory thing that makes building impossible to help the housing thing.
Ooh, a tropa. Friend needed.
About a bunch about how do we grow supply base in this country across all sectors, get more people back to work. All those things go.
Get more people back to work. I'm glad you brought that up. Because not only is he threatening to deport a large portion of people
here illegally,
he's also planning to de-document people. He is cutting off legal pathways to come here. In fact, a few minutes ago, the New York Times just reported that he is ending the parole program that allowed Ukrainians to come in here, potentially causing all of those people to lose their work authorization. And the majority of Americans, as Harry Anthony reported on this network over the past couple of days, not only support deporting illegal immigrants. These are legal immigrants. Why don't you let me finish talking, Catherine? Because you interrupted me, and I didn't finish what I had to say. Not only do they support deporting illegal immigrants, people who have committed crimes, but they also support less immigration as a whole, which was something surprising to many people as that poll came out. In the past 4 days, President Trump has done. This is not a bait and switch. This is the reality. You just don't want to hear it. In the past 4 days, President Trump has done more than Biden did in 4 years. That's the reality. He continues to keep promises that he made to the American people. When he talked about oil and gas, he cut burdensome regulations just in this first couple of days, in the long term will help us gas.
Is pointing out that on the immigration issue, Trump ran on the most extreme of plans, right? And the American people knew that. They voted for him, yes. However, he also did, the economy was essential, maybe the central issue in this country. And again, he's done a lot of things this week. You mentioned a bunch of things that he's promised to do, but has not actually done. But one of the other things, I mean, this conversation just reminds me that it's a flood the zone moment for the country, okay? And here's what James Carville had to say about how Democrats ought to be handling it and are handling it.
So usually people would put something out and it would be the story of the day, and then you could follow that, and they defend the story, and people would attack it, and you go ahead. Now he has 10 things out there. Of all of the things that you mentioned, what should the Democrats focus on? What they will end up doing is what they always do. They will focus on all 10. And it will do no good. Steve Bannon, I think the guy was right. He said, we're just going to flood the zone with shit. And we're now flooded with shit. And we just don't have a response. We just don't.
Have Democrats basically failed the test here? I mean, Trump was basically trying to give them so much stuff to deal with that they can't hold any of it in their hands at the same time.
God forbid me be the one to defend Democrats. When I was going to lead this segment, you stole my thing on the Fast and Furious meets Dumb and Dumber. And I think that what we've seen is a whole bunch of stuff that is crazy. And look, at the end of the day,
if he did half the, if he did half the stuff that he said he was going to do, I'd be all in. And I don't wish him any ill will. I just think that I've done this long enough, and I grew up on a farm in East Texas enough to just know what I see when I see it. And he says what people wanted. And when it comes down to doing it, there wasn't a bunch of workers behind him at the inauguration. They were the richest for a reason. And that's because he's going to take care of those folks. And maybe he takes care of some working folks well. I hope that he does. But when he don't, this is when these chickens are going to come home to roost. Because there's a midterm election less than 2 years. And we will see.
But Chuck, did you not?
Okay, let's be honest. The flights, the deportation flights, big tweet from the press secretary today saying they're starting again. They didn't really ever stop, except that now they're happening with military flights, which, according to DOD, costs, I'm not good at math, 3 times at least as much as the C-130. I mean, those numbers are astronomical.
If I could give the Democrats advice right now, it would be weird. But I should tell them to do less. Democrats have so many problems in their own house. There's such a crisis of leadership there, messaging there. Deal with that. Do less.
Oh, good for her.
I personally believe
Okay.
a lot of the Trump agenda is going to be catastrophic for America. I think you're going to see prices raised when you look at farms all over the country, not having workers. These farmers, some of them Trump supporters have already said this. I think you're going to see people actually be uncomfortable with some of the images that they see coming out of these ice raids. I think you're also going to see Americans not just inconvenienced in these ice raids, but also potentially harmed, detained, hurt. So I think a lot of this stuff is going to backfire. And if me, and I'm advising them, play the story.
Yeah, I think we saw him on the campaign trail repeatedly make promises about, here's what I'm going to do immediately when I get into office. As of the past 4 days, he declared a national border emergency. He ended birthright citizenship. He ended catch and release. He reinstated remain in Mexico. He designated cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. The list goes on and on and on, but we're seeing those numbers come down already. We'll continue to see them come down. And what did the Biden administration and Democrats do when supposedly Democrats in this network arguing, hey, we had the list of these people before. Why were they not gone when Trump took office Monday? These are criminals, a lot of them in gangs, and they do not belong in this country. Because Venezuela... Well, we'll see the Supreme Court. We'll ask the question.
One quick thing, because we got to go. Are you okay with the White House to deport immigrants just for a photo?
I want them out of the country. I want to see our communities safer. I've talked to people who have been impacted by this, who have been victims of violent crimes at the hands of illegal immigrants. We have a crime problem in this country as it is. We've talked about it on the show. And the last thing we need is people who aren't even legally supposed to be here adding to that problem. But they can't even man. They can't even land the military. Earlier today that Mexico turned away the military jet that was carrying the deportees because it was an insult to Mexico. Then had them go elsewhere, but they're not going to stay here. They're Mexican nationals, but they're not Americans, and that's not where they're going to be. That's not how the law works. Oh, yes, it is. It is. They do not have any legal right to be here.
We got to leave it there. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate it. Everyone else, stick around. Coming up next, President Trump is touring California wildfire damage, and he says that the state should not get money to rebuild unless it passes voter ID laws. We'll debate that next.
Alder Ridge with Anderson Cooper. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For the times when cooking just isn't in the cards, try brand new ready-made meals from HelloFresh. No prepping, no cooking. Just heat up and dig in to deliciousness. New from HelloFresh.
Texas was waiting and wondering and worrying. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who does everything for you. Who can do your taxes in a day, so you can get up to $4,000 instantly. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax.
Sounds like you can vaporize that cold.
Will vapor cool?
That's Russia Vicks vapors.
NyQuil Vapor Cool, the vaporizing nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, best sleep with a cold medicine. Total Beats, America's best-selling Beats brand, is available at Walmart. Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews contain a key ingredient clinically shown to deliver better blood pressure support. Take control of your health. Head to Walmart and get Total Beats blood pressure support soft chews today.
People come to the same hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. You're just a flightless bird.
It's a dreamer, right?
Well, I'll be. That bird really did it. Only pay for what you need. Liberty, 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 liberty.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Wow, where has it been my turn? Having to deal with multiple products is hassle. With Magic Eraser, I use it on everyday messes.
My mana.
You need this to set for your life.
Didn't even say so.
When you open your bathroom, you can feel like a revolving door. Keep things fresh with the 3 small spaces. It's an outlet-free air freshener that pops over for 45 days.
Yikla. Swap it up.
Smells amazing. I had the worst dream last night.
Whip a soup, lingo. Lumbic. Yeah.
That's awful. My mother was saying,
my mana.
And
Seneca.
about $2 million in coverage all online. Life insurance made easy. Check your price today at ethos.com.
Jabin. No be your. Oh, Iklavayevka. Chilolivka.
99% increase in prime.
Ishkabas. Choba Quinsba. Claffy. Chedge Pivna.
New project. Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire.
Carbon Batul.
Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Singula
Way it ends where it begins.
Thank you for sharing this red baron with us, Linda. It's so tasty, it makes me want to share something of my own. I didn't actually read the book.
I watched the movie last night.
Whoa, Ganji.
Yeah. Not really fair. Sharing red baron pizza. We're sharing.
What makes it possible? 5G advanced network solutions. T-Mobile for business. From coaches using AI analytics to players using AR data to find the best path to the cup. T-Mobile helps PGA of America reliably connect with 5G. From the course to the clubhouse. Experience game-changing innovation with T-Mobile for business.
February 20th to the 23rd, join us at the Food Network South Beach Wine and Fruit Festival. This is a world-class food and wine festival. I don't think there's anything like this. Proceeds benefit FIU. Eat, drink, and educate. Get your tickets now at SoBWFF.org.
Tonight, can't we all just get along? Well, it depends on if you believe that Donald Trump is more Jekyll or Hyde. Today, the country captured a tarmac hug between the president and one of his favorite social pinatas, California Governor Gavin Newsom. And here's the soundbite outlining the president's requirements for delivering federal disaster aid to the state of California.
Want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen.
Wow. Conditions being sent to California, not just for aid, but for him being the greatest president that they have ever seen. What do you make of this?
Okay, so I live in Los Angeles. And over the past 2 weeks in Los Angeles, it doesn't matter whether or not you've been directly affected or whether or not you know people. The emotional work has been enormous. I lived through Hurricane Katrina as well, so the only thing I can compare it to. You know people that have lost their homes, have lost their family homes. The best they can afford it. People are just afraid to build back. It's a really nervous time in a city that doesn't get all that nervous. It is despicable to me. And I realize that we're here to have different types of opinions and everything.
Sway.
Boom. Such loss. And such uncertainty. The leaders that I like and the type of leader that I would respect is someone that comes in and says, something's happened to you. We're going to find out how it doesn't happen again in the future. We're going to make sure that the entities that exist to make you whole act in the way that they should be acting. Anything short of that and injecting politics into it is a failure every day.
We'll make a few different points today. Right before our hearts go out to everyone in LA, no question about it. Today, before he went to California, he went to North Carolina. And he did something remarkable. For 20 minutes, he let the victims of that hurricane damage speak and talked about name the insurance agencies that did them wrong, name exactly how FEMA did them wrong. And Trump said something's got to change. Now, it's not unusual for federal grants and aids to have conditions set. You got to think when Trump says something, what is he saying, and what's the message he's trying to deliver? One of them is water. There is, without question, problems with fire mitigation in California. They've been doing it since the Indians roamed that land, controlled burns, forest clearouts, and that has suffered dramatically. There's no desalinization plants. We have water flow issues, etc. Voter IDs, he is trying to underscore the point that in California, if people are upset with what is going on around them, they ought to look at the leaders here elected.
I think that's a nice attempt, but voter ID has absolutely nothing to do with fire mitigation.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But he didn't put that in the same segment. They said that was the other condition. My point is, you bring up voter ID. No, I did.
Trump wants to tie voter ID disaster. It would be one thing if he was saying, we're going to take a look at your fire mitigation policies and make sure you guys are on the right track so this never happens again.
Boss a move, enough.
Just throw that in a second. Be that what it may. Yes, voter IDs. He's trying to underscore that the people who they are electing aren't representing their interests. He
Also,
says voter ID is an issue.
the second part of this is why it's one thing to say we want to make sure that your policies prevent this from ever happening again. It's another thing to say we are going to hold this over your head. The victims.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if Joe Biden had said that, okay, listen to what I'm saying, because I know you're going to say, well, Joe Biden didn't give North Carolina. If Joe Biden had said that he would not give North Carolina victims money because he wanted a change to abortion policy in the state, wouldn't that be outrageous?
Congress decides on who gets this money. And Congress will vote to move that money. And it's funny that we bring up voter ID, because I wrote these down. I know you tune in to hear the numbers from me. Is that in the last election in California, I pulled these before I got here, Donald Trump got 150,000 more votes. Should make these Republicans happy than he got last time over Joe Biden. And us Democrats, voter ID, crap, us Democrats got 3.5 million less votes. That's why he did so well, and he did better than he's ever done in California. That don't mean you don't give him the money. This should have nothing to do with the money. But Donald Trump did have support there. There's plenty of people who voted for Biden that voted for Trump in the last election. Well, let me finish. The congressional delegation there, so if you want to know if any of these Republicans in California would support giving money to their state, even though most of the areas that burn in it shouldn't matter, are Democratic congressional districts, 43 Democrats in the House of California and 9 Republicans. You come here for the numbers.
And by the way, I'm not advocating we do not give money to California. That is not what I'm advocating for. I am simply trying to explain what the underlying, what Donald Trump says and what he is trying to deliver.
I think at the end of the day,
I think it's a question of whether we're okay with that as a country, and maybe we are. Maybe people are like, well, you can only get the money if the president decides that he likes you.
I think at the end of the day, he's going to make sure that these victims are okay. He's going to do what needs to be done. He's going to put all Americans first. He ran on an Americans first policy. He wants to make sure that he's taking care of our people going all around the world, taking care of everybody else. But also, if you watched when he sat down today, and he sat down with us, he sat down with others, he heard the concerns of many people in California, just like he did in North Carolina. And one of the things that he continued to hear was, we won't be able to rebuild for 18 months. And he asked a lot of the right questions, and he asked the mayor, will you commit to me that this will not be the wait? And she said, no, it won't be 18 months, it will be 18 months. He said, well, why is it not tonight? So they started talking about hazardous waste. He said, well, what's going to be hazardous waste that needs to be cleared? Is that going to be something that continues to drag this out so people can't rebuild their homes? So he asked a lot of the questions that people were concerned about. He talked to the organizations, and so he is being the voice for many of these people who are very frustrated with the Democratic officials who they, in some cases, elected and don't feel represented.
First of all, there's a lot of frustration in California. I think you heard that. People are frustrated. They want to rebuild, all that stuff. But Trump is also saying in the same breath, he wants to get rid of FEMA. He wants to condition aid to California. I don't think that that's something to gloss over. As you just, when it comes to FEMA specifically, he's talking about
That's what I want her to do, bitch. I'm like, what do I want you to do, bitch?
You know, it may not end up happening. But when we look at the past 20 years of disaster across this country, I can't think of many times where FEMA did a great job. You look at FEMA is paid still. You look at any other, and you look at all
all the red states, they're still housing people. But maybe that's FEMA is housing people. They are providing grants to people. They are helping people rebuild. It is there's a good money potential not be better used at the state and local level where they have direct access to these people, where they may know their needs immediately, quicker, and may be able to meet them. That is a question worth exploring if it's working. All right, everyone, hang on.
This system.
President Trump just please join CNN tonight and make
The Whole Story with Anderson is a 5-time Emmy winner for long-form journalism. This week, a Whole Story exclusive, Operation The Whole Story with Anderson Sunday at CNN.
Imagine checking your own heart with medical
precision from anywhere. Introducing Cardio Mobile 6L, the FDA-cleared EKG that provides 6 times more heart data than any smartwatch, and it detects 3 of the most common arrhythmias in just 30 seconds, including atrial fibrillation, bradycardia, and tachycardia. Check your heart with your most advanced personal EKG outside the hospital. Get yours at cardio.com or inside.
If you're frustrated, it's time to try Align. Align probiotic is specifically designed for postpartum shoppers to help relieve irritational symptoms. When you feel the signs, it's time to try Align.
Tap into Etsy for home and style staples to help you set any vibe. From custom lighting under $150 to vintage jackets under $100 for affordable pieces.
Can a personal loan unlock your ambitions? Oh yeah. Take a swing at your kitchen loan. And that loan. SoFi personal loans. Low fixed rates. Borrow up to $100K. No fees required.
Food this good can be easy with new prep and bake meals from HelloFresh. They're light on prep, low on mess, and barely lift a finger easy. HelloFresh. Homemade, made easy. It's easy too.
Alka-Seltzer Plus flavor. Choose this.
Yeah, sure. Let me know.
At Morgan Stanley, old school hard work meets bold new to help you see untapped possibilities and relentlessly work with you. Confidently.
Now taxes. Let's get a TurboTax app. File your taxes yourself, 100% free. You filed with us last year. Now this is taxes. File through the app by switch to TurboTax and do it yourself.
Swamping is hard work.
Try the Swiffer Power Mop.
Spino? Yeah, fruit. Zoom. Ooh.
I've worked out, I eat, That's why this celebrity housewife went to Sono Bello.
Laughing.
When it comes to your personal health and habits, these are the absolute best.
My mana.
Schedule your free, no obligation consultation.
What up? Ringlar.
You know that thing your family does? Yeah, that thing. Someone made it a thing way back in the day. But where did it come from? And how did it get all the way to you? Curious? Ancestry can help you find out. Because that thing has a story, and it's still being written. See for yourself at Ancestry. Sometimes it takes a different approach to see the possibilities all around you. At Capella University, you'll learn in-demand business skills relevant to the career you want.
What Tractor Supply customers experience is personalized service made possible by T-Mobile for Business. With T-Mobile's reliable 5G business internet, employees get the information they need instantly. This is how business goes further with T-Mobile for Business.
Welcome back. Have I Got News for You returns February 15th on CNN.
Tonight, dancing himself clean, Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys leader, is now free, and it's all thanks to Donald Trump. He's also now attempting to pretend like he never said what he said when a judge sentenced him to 22 years in prison. The Department of Justice said this about his role in the insurrection. Tarrio privately takes credit for the riot at the Capitol, telling Proud Boys senior leadership, "Make no mistake, we did this." Now, tonight, in a brand new interview with CNN's Ross Coates, Tarrio is channeling Shaggy, saying, "It wasn't me."
I want to be clear. When I say I am sorry or I apologize for those officers that were assaulted and those members of Congress that were scared, I want to be clear. I said I'm sorry for it, but then I said, it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of my actions that occurred. It's
look, it's not what he told the judge. And he, you know, visually, he's sitting there, he's wearing a giant Make America Great Again hat. He is a visual representation of Trump's incredibly controversial decision, not only to pardon the violent ones, but the people who organized the violent ones.
I'm not a member of the Proud Boys. I thought January 6th was a really dark day. I had a lot of friends who were members and press members who were in the building. It scared the living daylights out of me. Yeah, I mean, he's going to make his case publicly. He's a free man. He has his freedom of speech. But I don't think we should be heading down a road that day ever happens again.
I have a question for you guys. How does it feel to be the party of the Proud Boys?
I don't think we are.
You are certainly are.
I think we are the party of the 56% of Americans who voted for Donald, or 50 whatever percent of Americans who voted for Donald Trump. And the Proud Boys are like, I don't know, what, a few handful of dozen?
You're that as well, but he was wearing the Make America Great Again hat. He has the
Democratic Party being the party of anarchists.
Well, we can do the whataboutism later. No, I didn't do the whataboutism. I'm talking about what's happening right now. Not.
But you're saying because someone wears a Make America Great Again hat, that person necessarily represents every single person in the Republican Party.
No. I'm saying that what I'm saying is that the leader of your party, the figurehead of your party, the emperor of your party, he made the decision.
He pardoned people. It doesn't mean he's a member of a certain group.
To pardon people who abused and assaulted police officers. And now that guy, and by the way, not only that, but these same individuals it's been rumored that they're going to visit Capitol Hill, talk to people, maybe be invited to the White House. You don't feel like at all that is Trump putting the rubber stamp on.
I think if the president decided to pardon people and he viewed this as a political persecution, which I think many people in the country do look at these cases, J.D. Vance, the vice president, bringing attention to one of them the other day in which someone who spent 8 minutes peacefully walking through the Capitol that day was sentenced to 18 months in prison. They weren't violent. They didn't steal anything. They didn't break anything.
Those people and not pardon the people who assaulted police officers.
Let me finish what I have to say, because there are many cases.
The sentences of the people who organized weapons and a violent attack on the Capitol. Why didn't he take the day or two and just take a look at the records and pardon the people who, if they were peaceful, they were peaceful?
So you look at a lot of these cases, again, political persecution, a lot of this was rubber stamped by the judges in these cases. And so you saw instances, and let me get to the point, Abby.
But I have to correct you.
Every single motion by the prosecution was granted in some of these cases. Yes, it is true.
Look, we had an attorney here a couple days ago.
I'm an attorney as well.
No, who represented some of the January 6th insurrectionists. He represented 3 clients. And several of his clients were being asked, the judge was being asked by DOJ for lengthy sentences, years-long sentences. And you know what happened? The judge said, no, we're going to give them 8 months. We're going to give them probation. So the system was operating in a way.
Not in every single case, and that's the problem.
I'm not making a blanket statement, okay? I'm saying that you were making a blanket statement about rubber stamps. I'm saying there's plenty of evidence.
I'm not saying in every case, but I'm saying in a lot of the cases it was political every single prosecution motion was granted, every single defense motion denied. Again, they showed a 22-minute video in this specific person's case in which they were only in it for less than 1 minute. They showed the worst moments of that day. 22 minutes. This guy's in there less than 1 minute. No violence. Didn't break anything, didn't steal anything, 18 months in prison. Typically, when you see a protest, that person might get a $50 fine.
Listen, obviously,
we can't stand for that as Americans, even if we don't support, obviously, what happened on January 6th.
But can you stand for the people who assaulted police officers? You can stand for that.
I'm not saying I stand for assaulting police officers. Never would I. But I don't stand for someone getting an unfair sentence, whether it's assaulting police officer or any other crime. You want to see people sentenced fairly. Like when we see people, we see so many black people in this country sentenced unfairly when it comes to marijuana.
Don't do that. We ain't in it. We ain't in it.
Please explain to me why. Why would you want to see anybody?
I don't want to see nobody. Don't do that. Do the January 6th thing. Do the black people, because we've been going to prison unfairly.
But I will say, I mean, look, marijuana convictions are one thing. People who were pardoned for assaulting police officers, breaking and entering the Capitol to stop the peaceful transfer of power, organizing militias against the United States government, that is a completely different story. In just a few minutes, you can watch this whole interview that Laura had with Enrique Tarrio. It's on Laura Coates Live coming up just next. Everyone stay with me. Coming up next, our panel is going to give us their nightcaps, dry January style. They'll tell us what price for some things, for someone that we should all be.
VRB.
Everybody out at Wasabi in North Canton, Ohio. I'll be back in about 10 days. Maybe, less now. We're getting close.
I've already given up beef and beer years ago. Me giving up my birthday after dinner and my salty snacks got me pissed off.
Salty snack.
Society, the press, stop talking about history without Googling it first. William Henry Harrison did not die from pneumonia.
That vote was historic. Reporter Jonah Gilmore is live in Storm Patrol 6, explaining what went into the process of reopening the roads. It was a big undertaking, Jonah.
Yeah, so it was a big undertaking. I can tell you it's a smooth sail right now on the interstate as we approach the 7th hour of interstates being back open. This is a live look at I-10 right here. Drivers today, they have never been more happy to get on the road after days of the interstate shut down.
I am definitely glad of that. I am definitely glad of that part.
Quite a relief. I mean, it's a blessing. Traffic buildup is usually a headache, but Friday, the sight of traffic brought relief across southeast Louisiana.
I got on the bridge there and it started opening up and just moving around. Cars staying spatially between each other.
Historic snow forced interstates and bridges to close for days, forcing drivers to take icy back roads. It was very hectic trying to get around the city without the interstate system open. Thomas Gaynor lives on the North Shore, but works in the French Quarter.
About 2 hours to get to work this morning.
He says he'd heard rumbles about the interstates reopening, but didn't know if it would happen before his evening commute.
We never faced nothing like this before, so it's no telling how long we was going to be shut down. So it's good to see everything back up and running again.
Daniel Gitlin with the Department of Transportation says getting the interstates back open was a daunting task, using Arkansas's help to get the metro area back operational.
We got everything open, I think, in the nick of time, and everybody was very cool with it, and it was great to see cars back on the interstate.
Although drivers can now travel on the main arteries, they are still being encouraged to use caution as some roads remain slick.
Take your time and get home. You'll get there. I promise you. You'll get there.
Now, we just want to alert drivers that the Earhart Expressway remains closed as there have been several concerns with ice covering the roads and causing accidents. But if you're making commute and getting on I-10, 6, and 510 or the Causeway, you should be good to go. Reporting live in Storm Patrol 6, Jonah Gilmore, WDSU News.
Jonah, thank you. Right now, more than a dozen areas are under complete boil water advisories and water conservation notices across the state from North Shore and South Shore, including all of St. Bernard Parish and Lafourche Parish. Testing is underway in Gretna, but remember, you have to bring your water to a complete boil for at least 1 minute before using. Let's turn now to your first warning weather on your Friday as you take a live look outside. There's the Crescent City connection on the corner. Beautiful night here, but we have to get through one more cold night before we can enjoy the warm-up that's ahead. Here's meteorologist Derek Stigley with more on that. And just how cold are we talking about, Derek, tonight?
Well, we're talking about temperatures dropping below freezing. South Shore, maybe not so much, but it will still be cold. We can see temperatures near freezing here again, Stella. So something that we're going to have to monitor going forward as we head into tonight and really through tomorrow morning here too. But overall, the bigger picture showing us that here locally things have been pretty quiet in southeast Louisiana. Not really too much in the way of cloud cover at all. Plenty of sunshine. Winds are looking light. Pretty much a near calm across much of the area.
Left. Oh.
I forgot my glasses, bitch.
On the South Shore. But hey, you know what? This is actually at least a little bit warmer compared to what happened here last night. So we're starting to see some changes, some warmer changes that is on the way. The rest of tonight, clear skies, cold and dry.
Sounds
Winds will be calm here as well. Look at the lows falling into the low to mid-20s on the North Shore. So protect those pipes here if you're on the North Shore. Mainly the 30s for the South Shore. All right, your polar forecast coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about some of the changes.
All right, Derek, thank you so much. All right, take a look at this. This video isn't just regular. Witness on the way to the Armstrong International Airport today. So the two just the usual 20-minute drive. Flights resumed yesterday, but several passengers finally sat in today. And as WBS's Sheree Vaishak explained, not everyone was upset staying in New Orleans a few extra days.
So the airport is back to normal. The same can be said for the airlines. And if you don't believe me, look at the TSA lines. Whenever you can count the number of people in the TSA lines, things are great. As
for the departure area. Look, not many people are there, but that was not the case earlier in the day. So many people were waiting to get out of the city that were stranded here for quite a few days, including Janelle West, who had a good time even after being stranded in the city.
Ah, dope.
We came here to celebrate my birthday with my family.
Oh.
Extra 2 days. We taking Nola with us. We feel like a native now. The joy of the
As a native and appreciated all the southern hospitality in her extended stay during this once in a generation snowstorm.
Man, everybody was so helpful
Oh,
because we
sweetie,
were
Purdue.
stranded. We went to the store and they were giving us food and stuff to take back to our Airbnb. The Louisiana
Oh,
amazing.
cute.
I'm so glad that we got stranded here, honestly.
As for Rashida Peterson, she's from Washington, D.C. She was supposed to leave Tuesday, and, well, that took a little bit of extra time.
Well, Tuesday it was nice. It was pretty. And I thought it was going to be fun. And it was. My mom went sledding. My parents live here. But then it started getting a little squirrely because Wednesday they canceled. Thursday they canceled my flight.
So you know how Rashida passed a good time while waiting for her flight? Well, she sat at the
Oh,
bar and enjoyed
Benaza?
some drinks like any normal person would do, no matter where they're from. At the airport, Sharif Isaac, WDSU News.
Main Street, new tonight, we are learning that all
Chankina,
fixed routes,
Russia.
buses and ferries will resume normal operations tomorrow in New Orleans. The Canal Street and City Park streetcars will resume service, but the St. Charles streetcar remains out of service. Temporary buses will cover those routes.
We'll begin the work of fundamentally changing, terminating, or FEMA's been a disaster no matter where they are.
Donald Trump says he will sign an executive order that could overhaul or get rid of FEMA as he criticized its response to Hurricane Helene. Those comments came after the president met with families affected by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. It is his first travel outside of Washington, D.C. since his inauguration on Monday. The executive order creates a task force to review it and recommend some new changes. It is speculated that the executive order would establish a group called the Federal Emergency Management Agency Review Council, whose members will include the Secretaries of Homeland Security and Defense, as well as private sector subject matter experts. The task force would issue reports to the president on how the agency currently functions and would make some suggestions, which could include reorganizing or even getting rid of FEMA altogether.
Girl, no, not getting rid of FEMA.
Because they weren't really told to do the job by former President Biden.
We pay directly, we pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix this. If the state did this from the beginning, we're going to have that situation.
The FEMA said Monday it had provided more than $316 million in cash grants to Western survivors, and that includes more than $6 million in assistance. FEMA only steps in when local leaders signal the damage is too much for them to handle on their own. FEMA can reimburse governments for their recovery efforts and help disaster survivors pay for their immediate needs like food and for housing. President Trump also visited Los Angeles today and laid out conditions the state must follow to get aid following the devastating wildfires. He wants the Democratic-led state to implement voter identification and to release the water to get disaster assistance. President Trump remains critical of California's fish conservation efforts, claiming it is the reason some hydrants ran dry in L.A. Local officials refute those claims, saying the problem was high demand for water. Well, tonight there is a lot of fear across the country for undocumented immigrants as ICE agents conduct searches. How local governments in disagreement are fighting back. And body cam video appearing to incriminate the alleged borough burglars. See the LSU gear they took with the actions.
Yes, my bitch earned a raise.
It's your last chance to buy or get 0% interest until 2031 with no money out of pocket today. The New Year's sale ends soon at Ashley.
Fairgrounds, OTB and casinos now have exciting new promotions and more ways to win big every day. To learn about our new promotions, visit fairgroundsracecourse.com.
family to yours. Happy New Year from the Gail Benson Automotive Team.
Whether you're hurt by a dump truck or a garbage truck or any kind of commercial vehicle, you may have a big case worth big money. Some of the big results.
Merhaba. Oh, Snorka. Oh,
HIV. Is it possible to get new HIV cases for people? Yeah.
Спасибо.
Free, baby.
Huh? What? Oh.
Centralized linkage connects you to care and all the resources. Then you equals you. Ain't that right, Tom? Undetectable equals untransmittable. Oh, I say let's bounce to that, y'all.
This is not a lawsuit. You don't have to go to court, give a deposition, or take any risk. You just have to file your claim and wait for your check to arrive. And it starts by calling 833-4-ASBESTOS to find out if you qualify. There's no fee, no obligation, no risk, and no out-of-pocket costs. We handle all the research and paperwork, and we only get paid once you start cashing your checks. Call 833-4-ASBESTOS to qualify and get your asbestos claim settled. Even spouses and children of industrial workers may qualify for asbestos compensation. Join the Fairgrounds Rewards Club and get a thrilling welcome. All new members win $50 up to $1,500 in free play. Guaranteed. Join the club today. Fairgrounds, race course, and slots.
Ashley's New Year's sale ends soon. It's your last
Yes, my hoe on the raise.
or it's 0% interest until 2031 with no money out of pocket today. The New Year's sale ends soon at Ashley. Right now, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are conducting operations nationwide, targeting undocumented immigrants, leaving people in fear of deportation and prompting local governmental authorities to push back. Cheryl Hubbard has the story.
The country have been bracing for aggressive immigration policies promised by the new Trump administration.
We have to have legal immigration.
A Chicago elementary school was in the spotlight Friday.
We will not open our doors for ICE, and we are here to protect our children.
Chicago public school officials trying to reassure families that undocumented students are safe after officials say Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agents, attempted to gain entry into an elementary school. In a statement, ICE denies it was their agents. The Trump administration's new policy that allows ICE to enter schools and churches is drawing outrage.
I find that to be unconscionable and reprehensible. There's so much confusion and chaos that they are scaring families that are here legally.
The mayor of Newark, New Jersey, says his city was, quote, unlawfully terrorized by federal agents during a raid at a local business. Surveillance footage shows several federal agents around the New Jersey seafood distributor and putting at least one person in the back of a vehicle Thursday.
Obviously, some ICE agents raided a business in our city. We believe that there were 3 people who were that they detained, but they also detained folks that were, in fact, citizens of this country.
This President Trump has a lot of immigration executive orders, including one to try to end birthright citizenship. I'm Cheryl Hubbard reporting.
All right, well, Chicago public school officials later learned the agents were from U.S. Secret Service. School staff kept federal agents outside of the building and contacted the CPS Law Department and CPS Office of Safety and Security for further guidance.
Yeah, Yibsy.
Whoa.
Yeah, but... Bunkas? Huh.
Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow. Take a look here. You can see police pulled over a vehicle for improperly charging license.
System.
Searched the car after smelling marijuana. And during that search, they found window punchers, which are sometimes used to break into homes. They also say they found clothing, including a Louisiana State University T-shirt that's believed to belong to Joe Burrow, whose home was robbed in December. 4 suspects are Chilean nationals. They were indicted Tuesday on charges related to robbing multi-million-dollar homes.
Our weather in southeast Louisiana is nice, but the temperatures, though, are expected to plummet here again as we head into tonight. So those of you, especially on the North Shore, get ready for some very frigid light temperatures. But right now, bigger picture showing you what's happening. High pressure in control across the deep south, biggest here in southeast Louisiana. The system is going to be responsible for bringing us more sunshine, I think, for tomorrow. Pretty much the same case here today. Plenty of blue sky across southeast Louisiana. Current winds are pretty light at around 5 miles an hour at best, but many locations really are reporting some pretty calm wind speeds at the moment. Right now, temperatures low to mid 50s for the most part in southeast Louisiana. Boothville, a little bit cool there, around 48 degrees there for you. Final numbers today for New Orleans, 53. The average is 63, so we're 10 degrees below where we should be. The low was 32 degrees this morning. Keep in mind, that's well below the average mark. 46 degrees record low. Nowhere near that. Current temperatures on the North Shore, upper 20s, lower 30s.
Good luck, Georgia.
We're seeing these temperatures into the low upper 30s here to lower 40s here at the moment, South Shore. So we got clear skies in the forecast for the rest of tonight. Overall, pretty cold and dry conditions once again expected with winds looking nice and calm. Low temperatures as we head into tomorrow morning for the North Shore, mainly in the 20s. We'll see a combination of mainly the low to mid 30s for the most part on the South Shore. Forecast for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, and overall over day, pretty dry too. Look at the high numbers tomorrow afternoon. Maybe into those mid to even upper 50s. I say upper 50s, especially closer towards the coast where we could be near 60 degrees. So here's what it looks like going forward. 65 as we head into Sunday, 66 on Monday, warmer up to 68 on Tuesday, 71 degrees for Wednesday. And then we'll see these numbers a little bit Thursday and Friday from another week. Cold front that will be moving in. That may help bring us down a little bit in terms of temperatures. But overall, high pressure is going to keep us quiet and overall pretty dry throughout the rest of tonight and also into tomorrow morning. We fast forward into tomorrow afternoon and get more of the same. Maybe a couple of passing clouds, but just call it a mostly sunny day as high pressure is not too far away still. But as that high moves away, it's going to give way to this next system coming in from the north. It's a cold front, and we're going to be looking at some increasing clouds here as it looks like here heading into early Sunday. That front's going to approach us and the dust, some showers, and some thunderstorms for neighbors towards Mississippi and northern Louisiana. Whatever left over, if they hold together, could make their way into southeast Louisiana, heading into sunny night and also into Monday afternoon early. We're going to be looking at that potential here as far as some rain chances are concerned. And then once that front passes through, maybe cools us down here just a little bit. Your WDSU first warning 7-day forecast looks like this with temperatures tomorrow morning again into the 20s on the North Shore, low 30s South Shore, and then that warm-up trend continues as we get into Sunday. Even though mostly cloudy skies, it'll be 65 degrees, and we're tracking some rain chances for Sunday night. Some rain chances again as we head into Monday, but those highs around 66. Cloudy skies for the rest of the week. Temperatures upper 60s, lower 70s through Wednesday.
Looking forward to that 71 degrees here. Thanks, Derek. Well, the New Orleans Pels fall in Tennessee to the Memphis Grizzlies, 126-39. Forward Zion Williamson did not race. He did play nearly 34 minutes, but DeJounte Murray had 26 points for the Pels, with 22 coming from Trey Murphy III. This is the Pelicans' first game since the snow postponed their matchup at home against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pelicans play the Hornets tomorrow in Charlotte. LSU women's basketball team faces their first loss of the season. Oh no, it was against South Carolina. The Tigers fell 56-66 in Greenville to the number 5 team. Despite this being the Tigers' first loss of the season, it's the Tigers' 5th straight loss to South Carolina under Coach Kim Mulkey. The Tigers play the Texas A&M Aggies on Sunday. Go Tigers. Well, space heater death is under investigation tonight. The emotional details we're learning about the victim.
You think Chevy, think Matt Bowers Chevy. 2 locations, Slidell and Metairie means twice the selection, twice the deals. Like new 2025 Silverado LT Crew for just $44,991. Shop smart, buy local. Matt Bowers Chevrolet.
If you were exposed to asbestos, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Families often face losing their homes or life savings just to pay the bills. If you or a loved one worked in these industries and were diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to compensation to protect your family. At Rights and Claims, we've helped families recover over $1 billion to cover medical costs, lost wages, and more. Let us help you secure their future with the compensation you deserve. Call now, 800-590-7072.
The Super Bowl experience presented by Panini. Interactive games, autographs, NFL memorabilia, and more. Join the action February 5th through 8th. Kids 12 and under free.
Are you 50 or older? Well, this news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Why? If you're 50 or older, even if you're healthy, you're 6 times more likely to be hospitalized. So schedule at vaxassist.com.
Almost 20 years ago, we were cleaning the French Quarter, bringing Disney-like cleanliness to our nation's oldest neighborhood. After a long hiatus, we are back and better than ever, cleaning the city block by block, from the Industrial Canal to the Jefferson Parish line, and from the river to the lake. And once again, cleaning the French Quarter. It's our mission to make New Orleans the cleanest city in America. ID Waste, give us a call today and let us work for you.
Most commercial trucks carry big insurance, so whether you're hurt by a dump truck or a garbage truck or any kind of commercial vehicle, you may have a big case worth big money. And these are some of the big results I fought to get my clients. If you've been hurt by a commercial truck, I'll fight for you too. Just call me. Get it done.
Stand up to big trucks. Get Gordon and get it done. Call 800-8888.
When you think Chevy, think Mac Bauer Chevy. 2 locations, Slidell and Metairie, means twice the selection, twice the deals. Like new 2025 Silverado LT Crew for just $44,991.
Shop smart. Buy local. Matt Bauer Chevrolet.
Get the latest live, local, late-breaking news from WDSU and original shows you won't find anywhere else. Download the free Very Local app.
A space heater may be to blame for the death of a 62-year-old woman and the complete loss of an Algiers home. Family members have identified her as Annette Tassin. New Orleans officials say the fire didn't just impact her home. Her neighbor was in harm's way as well. WDS reporter Shay O'Connor explains what happened.
Yeah, Annette Tassin's daughter tells me that her mom would often sleep with a space heater in her bed when she would get cold, something she told her not to do. Today, she had a message to share.
Oh, ages, no matter what age, don't have no heater in your room, not on your bed, not nowhere. This right here, it really changed my life.
Lives forever changed.
My mom was a beautiful person. She is a loving person. No matter what, she would give her a shirt off your back.
Jessica Sims says she woke up to video of her mom Annette Tassin's house on fire. She lives blocks away and immediately ran over, seeing the house engulfed in flames. Sims says her mom's body was found near a door in her home.
She was trying, and she couldn't get on. And I'm hurt. She never found me. She ran through everything with me. That's my mom. That's my girl.
NOFD says the space heater started the fire, quickly spreading throughout Tassin's home into the other side of the duplex where Tyler Wilson was with his kids. Wilson says when his son began to cough, he went to check on him.
I cut the light on. And when I cut the light on, that's when I noticed there, like, buku smoke.
Wilson says he got his kids while using his fist to hit the middle wall, hoping to wake Tassin, all the while hoping that she wasn't home.
I ran outside, so I didn't think she was home. So when we got outside, that's when I noticed on the roof that it was like the roof was on fire. And it burned.
We're told the mother of 6 was known to decorate her home heavily for the holidays. She was also a Mardi Gras Indian. Her daughter seen trying to salvage what she could from the home, finding a Bible, Christmas lights, and a couple of pictures. But it's all the joy her mom brought to her family. She'll hold in her heart forever. That and memories of a birthday party she threw for Tassin just last year.
If she's not gonna make it to her birthday, that's fine. But guess what? I'm gonna throw her another. I'm gonna throw her because guess what? It's my girl.
Wilson, Tassin's neighbor who stays right next door in this duplex, actually lost everything during that fire. We have a link up on WDSU.com if you'd like to help. Reporting from Algiers, Shay O'Connor, WDSU News.
Well, the Twin Span opened, providing much-needed relief to Slidell business owners who are waiting for customers. WDSU North Shore Bureau reporter Joanna Jones is on the Twin Span with reaction from business owners.
Free-flowing traffic on the Twin Span is a beautiful sight to see after the snowstorm earlier this week crippled transportation across the North Shore. You can see over my shoulder that traffic is picking up as more people are learning that the bridge is open, and it signals a sign of normalcy that drivers and business owners need.
Let me get a little white for your hands, okay?
For 3 days, Slidell small businesses sat still. No customers, no deliveries, no money coming in. But now, they're open and they need the community's support.
We enjoy going out to eat a lot, so, we try to stay around here to support the locals and keep them up and running.
Chef T is the owner of Creole Sisters, a restaurant that was just named Best Caterer on the North Shore by Edge of the Lake magazine. She's used to juggling orders with a wall-to-wall packed storefront, but this week, she's been juggling deliveries too.
I had some trucks that were supposed to come in, but, due to everything being grounded, they couldn't come in, so like today, we usually have potato salad. When I was going to go special, I wasn't able to get potatoes and stuff like that.
Over at Old Town Pizza, voted best pizza in Slidell 5 years running, staff members who could make it in, like Ethan, were in the back kitchen, stretching dough as customers came pouring in.
Small businesses typically don't have a lot of staff, and whenever you do have a lot of staff, you still have to pay everybody.
Caitlin has been working here for 4 years. She says for some employees, this is their livelihood.
Some people here, this is their job. This is what they do for a living. We're not nurses. We don't work at hospitals. We don't get paid if we're not here.
Chef T says her restaurant prides itself on bringing generations of New Orleans food to the North Shore. She says the storm may have slowed them down, but they're not stopping now.
We're pushing through and we're grateful for everyone that come in and support us.
Please be patient as you head out and stay alert on the roadways. Reporting from New Orleans East, I'm Shalonda Jones, WDSU News.
And all the snow and frozen roadways made southeast Louisiana look like a winter wonderland for a few days, but now it's time to get back to business, our Mardi Gras business. We're still officially in carnival season, and Crew Mosaic says their second annual parade still plans to roll tomorrow in the French Quarter. The 12-block walking parade will feature 10 groups. They're all sporting homemade outfits. And of course, plenty of throws for you. They plan to unveil a brand new throw at tomorrow's parade, unique wooden mosaic pieces that parade goers can collect. So again, tomorrow's parade is still on, and the crews begin walking at 6 p.m. As we take a quick break here, a live look at St. Charles Avenue from our Toro LCMC hospital camera. Parades will roll in just a matter of weeks.
This is a historic storm.
WTSU First Warning Weather prepared you days in advance.
Not just a chance we could see some snow in a couple of days, we will.
And when the storm arrived, WTSU took you across southeast Louisiana.
Team coverage for you this morning from the North Shore to the South Shore.
A whiteout winter wonderland.
During a cloud of joy.
WTSU News, live, local, late breaking.
New Year event celebration brings big savings. Get $4,500 plus 0.9% financing on the SUV where every detail is built around it. Buick Envision. $4,500 off and 0.9% financing on Envision. Now at Crown or CrownBuickGMC.com.
Ready? It's happening right now in rooms to go. Beautiful rooms, each under $1,000. Picture it. Your home fully furnished in your style. With living rooms under $1,000. Dining rooms under $1,000. Bedrooms under $1,000. So many
Down here? Yeah.
$1,000. And it gets even better. Finance for as low as $25 or less per month. Interest free for 42 months. Furnish your home to perfection. Now at rooms to go.
Now this is a big truck, but not compared to this monster. If you've been hurt by a big truck, a little truck, or any kind of car truck, call me. I know how to cut the trucking companies down to size. When it comes to car truck wrecks, big or small, I handle them all. I'm Attorney Gordon McKernan. Call me and get it done.
Stand up to big trucks. Get Gordon and get it done. Call 800-8888.
I've been living in New Orleans my whole life. I've seen it. I've been hearing about how clean the French Quarter is. I figured I had to see it for myself. My grandmother always used the kitchen, the white glove test. So let's see. Gotta be
The Crown New Year event means big savings. Join the celebration with 12,000 off MSRP on GMC Sierra Crew Cabs, featuring hands-free driving and a 6-way multi-pro tailgate. That's 12,000 off on Sierra, now at Crown or CrownViewGMC.com.
¿Estás listo?
If you know us as Bad Bunny with Oscar nominee Carla Sofia Gascon. Plus, Bad Bunny performs in a Subway surprise.
WTSU was sponsored by Lakeside
Soon.
Toyota.
Another snow video that will bring you joy.
Check out the Honey Island Clydesdales Pearl River, enjoying snow by pulling owner Clay Harper's kids on a aluminum boat. The horses were in the 2017 Budweiser commercial, but you'll probably see them during Mardi Gras.
Yes, you do every year. And this year, they will be in several parades across the state, including the Mad Hatters, which I will be in, along with Shea O'Connor and Elizabeth Kubel. They're also going to be in Bacchus, Poseidon on the North Shore, and even Neptune in Biloxi and several other parades throughout the area. Beautiful horses there. Look at that. Just enjoying the snow with the family. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here on Friday. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Have a great weekend.
Whoa!
When you think Hyundai, think Matt Bauer's Hyundai Slidell. Now get 0% financing
7A.
award-winning lineup of
Mushka.
SUVs.
Shop smart. Buy local. Matt Bauer's Hyundai.
If your spouse or parent worked at an industrial worksite before 1982, you may be owed money for secondhand exposure to asbestos. Many workers carried asbestos home on their work clothes, exposing everyone in the household. Fortunately, there are still $30 billion in asbestos trusts to pay for the damage. Spouses and children.
Classified as violent extremist, domestic violent extremist. It is good that he comes out publicly and says that.
You live? Huh? Yabosa. Cannot. Ulak. Yigla.
Classy.
Yips! Yup. Ooh. Huh? Ooh. Lumbic. Yup. Ooh. Yigla. Oh. Ooh. Haha, yips. Uh-huh. Yups. Sabave. Ah. Huh. Ah. Uh-huh. Huh. Huh. Zoomf. Yeah. Ah. Oh, yeah. Mhm. Ah. Guax. Huh. Ah. Ah. A ball. Mm. Ah. Oh. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Belgium. Huh? Ah. Yabosa. Huh? Ooh. Huh. Ah. Ah. Ski. Ah. Ulak. Storm. Huh? Ooh. Bounce. Ooh. Ah. 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 Huh? Ooh. Snosh. Huh. Uh-huh. Shives. Ah. Ah. A ball. Ah. Pay and believe. Go buff. Ah.
Oh, man. Cool entertainment. Want it back?
Oh, he's in a row. Ringla. System.
We Bernard Pelt. Beftego Shoib. Brett no Quave. Wemek Faroob. Shaylee.
Ha, Nilshaba. Tomarimble. Vimpa.
Oh. Uh-huh. Ah. Zoom. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Huh?
Ah.
Spino? Ah.
Ah.